What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Oscar Health. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what's been really moving it and why you really need to add this stock to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I want to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Oscar on Friday did consolidate a little bit, down 1.05%, but we did see very low volume. So I'm not too worried about that because still over the last 5 days, it is up 12.5%. I'm pretty sure everyone generally knows what really caused that, which was this. So Trump planning to propose extending the Obamacare subsidies, and that's going to be for another 2 years. So this is why I did, and pretty much I was equivalently screaming in my videos saying that you need to buy this dip, because Oscar between that $13 to $14 range was just a dream come true. So I was loading the boat, I was buying a ton of stock, plus I was selling a lot of puts, just in case, hypothetically, it was going to kind of stay low. And so yeah, I think in general, the writing was on the wall that this was just going to be a short-lived kind of consolidation period, because we did also have at the same time a lot of bearish ratings just piggybacking off of that. So you did have Wells Fargo, UBS, Barclays. I think this is a very good indication that there is a lot of manipulation. And even though every analyst here, for the most part, is bearish on Oscar, the average at the time was about $14. So the fact that it actually went down to 13 was just mind-blowing, below even what the bears are anticipating. So we recently did get a new upgraded price target, $25. Piper Sandler, Jessica, who has a 37% success rating. So this is now the highest rating that an analyst has on Oscar. This is going to be the turning point. All it needs is one. That's all you need. You just needed one analyst to become bullish, and then of course it's going to trickle down, because as much as these individuals, a lot of people have high kind of respect for analysts, they're very kind of highly paid as well, about $150,000 each, even though they don't really have that good of success ratings, but they are sheep. So one analyst gives a bullish rating, stock gains a little bit more additional momentum, the rest are going to follow. And once I go over the technicals, that might be that catalyst that ultimately will convert the rest of these ratings to be bullish. Aside from that, though, there really hasn't been that much from the company itself. So last news did come out on October the 10th. So like I said, I think a lot of this up and down has been just artificial and kind of indirectly affecting Oscar. But a couple of things I do want to go over, one of which is shorts. So on Friday, this is not Oscar, so I will pull that up. So this is SOFI. You guys don't need to see that, but in Oscar's case, shorts did return about 234,000 shares, 13.03% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 28.98 million shares overall being shorted. This as well, I know this seems like a lot of randomness going on, but this teal line does signal what shorts have been doing. And lately, since the peak of, looks like July the 30th, where it was at 36.9%, this is where they've been pretty much doing nothing but returning. So in my opinion, that also is a extremely bullish signal. Shorts returning, like obviously that's a good sign that they feel more upside is coming, despite what Trump has said and whatever else, because again, you can kind of coincide it, the price action, with what they did. So when Trump came out with that, they actually took advantage and they returned a ton of stock. This is why during that day I did a video saying, hey, signals are all there saying that this is just a artificial suppression through algorithmic trading. Institutions are actually buying the dip. You have shorts returning. So this is why I like to look at the data, the true data, and don't get so emotionally invested. So again, I think even generally at this stage in the game, despite it going up 13% over the last 5 days alone, like the writing's on the wall that we're going to be seeing higher highs. So we have shorts returning, which is always good. DTC sitting at 1.69 days. So that also does signal that shorts are still fairly overextended. So DTC does factor in the average volume in comparison to number of shares being shorted. Aside from that, looking at the options from Friday, we had 2.7 million in calls, 447,000 in puts. 50% of all the options, though, were bearish in nature. And so there's a little bit of consolidation anticipated, but going into this upcoming week, from a bull standpoint, you see consensus for it to be roughly around that 18 to 1850. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 17. So even kind of from the bear standpoint, for it to be roughly around $17, that's not the worst kind of position or consolidation, right? But still, Monday is going to be a very, very big day for Oscar, because quickly popping over here for a second on the chart itself. So we did have Thursday and Friday really wanting, or sorry, Wednesday, I guess, because Thursday was closed. Happy Thanksgiving, late Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there. But nonetheless, on Wednesday and also Friday, it has been pounding at that 50-day moving average. And that is a very big deal for a lot of growth stocks. So you can kind of see some of the price action that does happen when a stock breaks above the 50-day moving average and closes above it for 2 consecutive days, such as right here. So back in August 22nd, it was at 15, which aided in the run that led it to roughly around 23.80. No different than the past. Every single time it breaks above that 50, you see very big price action. So we are pounding at the door right now. So come Monday, if it is able to close above that, which right now that is sitting at 18.18, if able to close above it, this is where you could see a nice run to a new 52-week high for Oscar Health. So again, even if you look at this data right here, the market position, you see some willing kind of sellers up to about that 1827. So all Oscar needs is a nice gentle push. Broader market optimism could be enough to do that, but all Oscar needs is a nice gentle push to really kind of break it above that 50-day moving average, really prompting a nice rally, more than what's already kind of happened. So let me know your thoughts on Oscar Health. Are you buying? Are you selling? What's your kind of general thoughts on everything that has been happening? This stock, I gotta admit, is extremely volatile, but for those of you that just like to zoom out and look at the technicals, you don't have to be doing that deep of any technical analysis. This is why a lot of people try and draw fib levels and all the other stuff. That's in many cases unnecessary. You can kind of see good buy zone is between that about $14.50 to about $12 range. Anytime it's in that range, it tends to bounce off of that and move higher, bounce higher, bounce higher. So this is like rinse and repeat. But still, I think Oscar is going to be more than that in the foreseeable future, and so it will be eventually no different than what happened with SOFI, Palantir, Robinhood. It always trades within a set range until it finally does break out. Then this is where you never see those kind of price levels again. No different than what happened even in when it was between that about $3 to $9 range. It was kind of going back and forth and eventually just broke out higher, and it has not looked back since. So let me know your thoughts on Oscar. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. What have you been doing? Do you believe in it? Do you think it's too risky? What's your kind of viewpoint on that? One final thing though, if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.